Good morning, class. In the previous classes, we have discussed that DNA is the genetic material. We have studied the structure of DNA, replication of DNA, structure of RNA, and the difference between DNA and RNA. Today, we will be doing the topic central dogma in molecular biology, and after that, transcription. Now, what is central dogma? It is a very important principle for living organisms. The flow of genetic information in a cell is called central dogma. We know DNA stores this genetic information in the form of a code, and it is written as that code, what we call as genetic code. And this genetic code, this genetic information which is stored in the DNA in the form of a genetic code is expressed in the cell in the form of a protein. So it is the protein that is the expression of the genetic information stored in the DNA. Protein, or we can call it a polypeptide chain. This concept of central dogma was proposed by Crick in the year 1958, and it is a unidirectional flow of information from DNA to RNA to the ribosomes for the synthesis of protein. So I will explain this to you. We are doing principle of central dogma in molecular biology. Now, what is central dogma? I just now told you the flow of genetic information in the cell. So, the flow of genetic information in a cell is called central dogma. Flow of genetic information. It was proposed by Crick in the year 1958. Now, we know DNA is the genetic material. It has already been proved. We have studied the structure of DNA. DNA is the genetic material and it stores genetic information. DNA stores genetic information in the which is written as genetic code. And this genetic information which is stored in the DNA is expressed in the form of proteins. So the expression of the genetic information are the proteins. So the proteins have to be formed in the cell. You know that proteins are formed in cell organelles called ribosomes. Ribosomes form proteins, therefore we also call ribosomes as the protein factories of the cell. So basically, if we take into consideration a cell, this is the nucleus. You know nucleus is bound by a double nuclear membrane, and there are pores between these membranes called nuclear pores. There are pores between these membranes called nuclear pores. And the DNA, which is a double helix, is situated inside the nucleus. This DNA forms messenger RNA, or we can say DNA which is present in the nucleus forms mRNA inside the nucleus. In case of prokaryotes, mRNA or messenger RNA is formed inside the nucleus. In case of eukaryotes, where the genetic material is bound inside the nuclear membrane, the messenger RNA is formed inside the nucleus. Whereas in prokaryotes, which lack a true nucleus, Nuclear material lies freely in the cytoplasm. mRNA is also formed in the cytoplasm. So DNA forms mRNA, and this mRNA leaves. The mRNA leaves the nucleus through the nuclear pore and attaches itself to the ribosome. Ribosome is made up of 2 subunits. These are 2 subunits of a ribosome. So this mRNA leaves through the nuclear pore. This is the nuclear pore. Through the nuclear pore into the cytoplasm. This is the cytoplasm. This is the nucleus. And attaches itself to the ribosome. And here protein synthesis takes place in the ribosome. Ribosome, the protein synthesis will take place. Now protein, you know, is made up of amino acids. Amino acids are the building blocks of proteins. So these amino acids are brought to the ribosome by means of transfer RNA. Transfer RNA carries these amino acids, and the amino acids are then joined to each other, and the bond that is formed between these is the peptide bond. That's how the chain of amino acid, each amino acid is brought by a specific transfer RNA, and this amino acid is based on the genetic code of the, which has been seen in mRNA. So this process of synthesis, I will explain it here. As I said, DNA is contained inside the nucleus. This DNA forms messenger RNA. The process of formation of RNA is called transcription, and the enzyme that is involved in the formation of RNA is RNA polymerase. Now in eukaryotes, this RNA polymerase is of 3 kinds, because there are 3 main types of RNA that are formed: ribosomal RNA, messenger RNA, and transfer RNA. 3 kinds of RNA are formed. So RNA polymerase is of 3 kinds. RNA polymerase 1 is responsible for the synthesis of ribosomal RNA, polymerase 1. RNA polymerase 2 is responsible for the synthesis of messenger RNA, and RNA polymerase 3 forms transfer RNA. But the basic process of formation of RNA from DNA is called transcription. Both these things are taking place inside the nucleus. As I told you, from DNA, RNA is formed inside the nucleus. Then this mRNA leaves the nucleus through the nucleopore and comes to the cytoplasm and forms protein. This process of protein formation is called translation. And protein, you know, are formed up of several amino acids. Several amino acids form the protein. Or we can say proteins are polypeptide chains. So these amino acids are brought by means of transfer RNA. I will be telling you about the different kinds of RNA after I teach transcription, that is formation of RNA. But this process, this unidirectional flow of information from DNA to RNA, from RNA to protein, this unidirectional, moving only in one directional flow of information in a cell is called central dogma. So 2 processes. Now you know DNA forms more DNA by the process of replication, and in most organisms DNA is the genetic material. So this was proposed by, this unidirectional flow of information was proposed by Crick in 1958. But some organisms like the retroviruses and some plant viruses have RNA as their genetic material. So how will genetic information from RNA be expressed in the form of protein? So scientists Temin and Baltimore, these are two more scientists who worked on central dogma, and they said that RNA forms DNA, which is the reverse of transcription. If we put the arrow like this, RNA forming DNA, that will be reverse of transcription. That is, they call this as reverse transcription. That formation of formation of DNA from RNA. In those organisms in which RNA is the genetic material, RNA first forms DNA, DNA then forms messenger RNA, and messenger RNA is expressed in the form of a protein. So the genetic information which is stored in the DNA is expressed in the form of a protein, and this process is called reverse transcription, which was given by Temin and Baltimore. So this is the process of central dogma in molecular biology, the flow of genetic information in a cell. Genetic information is stored in DNA, it is transcribed in RNA by the process of transcription, and then that mRNA translates it in the form of a polypeptide chain or a protein, and the process is called translation, and synthesis of protein takes place inside the ribosomes. So this is the process of central dogma. I hope everybody has understood this. It is an important concept and has been asked in the board many a times before. Now we move on to the process of transcription. Transcription. As we have already studied just now, portion of the transcription, that formation of RNA from DNA is called transcription. And the enzyme which is involved in the process of transcription is RNA polymerase. This RNA polymerase in eukaryotes is of different kinds. As I just now told you, RNA polymerase 1 forms ribosomal RNA, which is the important constituent of ribosomes. Then RNA polymerase 2 forms messenger RNA, which will then code for a protein, express it in a form of a protein, and RNA polymerase 3 forms transfer RNA. This is in case of eukaryotes. In prokaryotes, this RNA polymerase is present in the form of a complex made up of many subunits. Has many subunits, and these subunits perform different roles and synthesize different kinds of they synthesize different kinds of RNA. So this was about the enzyme. Now coming to the process. First step in transcription is unwinding or uncoiling of DNA. Unwinding of DNA in a specific region which is going to code for a protein. So suppose this is a strand of DNA, and we see that there is uncoiling in a specific region of DNA. This is 3' to 5' strand of DNA, and this is the anti-parallel 5' to 3' strand of DNA. You know, DNA exists as a double helix, and the two strands of DNA are anti-parallel to each other. One runs in the 3-5 direction, polarity of that strand is 3' to 5', the other runs in, and where it uncoils, RNA polymerase enzyme. Now, out of these two strands of DNA, only one is functional, and the 3'5' strand is the template strand which will form messenger RNA, which will code for messenger RNA. The other strand is called the coding strand. Now, you know, this is always read in the 3' to 5' direction, and synthesis takes place in the 5' to 3' direction. So, it will be read like this, 3' to 5' direction, it will be read like that, and the synthesis will take place in 5' to 3' direction. Synthesis in 5' to 3' direction. So, this will form mRNA. This polymerase enzyme will read the bases and form this. So, the first step is unwinding of DNA in a specific region. Then RNA polymerase will start synthesizing RNA from ribonucleotides. You know, Chargaff said, gave the base pairing rule. So, the ribonucleotides, that is AMP, adenosine monophosphate, cytosine monophosphate, uridine monophosphate, and guanine monophosphate, cytidine and uridine, because in place of thymine in RNA the base is uracil. So these ribonucleotides will align themselves in a complementary fashion, because base pairing is complementary. Suppose there is adenine here, thymine here, cytosine here, guanine here. So accordingly, uracil, adenine, guanine, cytosine, that's how ribonucleotides are going to be added, one after the other, based complementary to the bases present in the template strand of DNA, and mRNA will be synthesized. After this, the mRNA, the third step is the mRNA that is synthesized, making use of RNA polymerase, will leave the nucleus and move into the cytoplasm, because protein synthesis will then take place in the cytoplasm. And the last step is that the DNA will wind again. It will wind again to form the double helix. Rewind itself to form the double helix. And this mRNA, which reaches the cytoplasm, leaves the nucleus through the nucleopore, will then be utilized for protein synthesis. And protein synthesis, as I told you, takes place in the ribosomes, and the process of protein synthesis is called translation. We are talking about transcription. I will teach translation later. But before that, we have seen the formation of RNA. Now we will see how the different kinds of RNA. In central dogma, it is mRNA. But DNA is forming RNA. And RNA, as I told you just before this, are of many kinds, and the three main kinds are ribosomal RNA, messenger RNA, and transfer RNA. So now I will tell you about the three kinds of RNA, their characteristics, and then transcription is formation of RNA, and three kinds of RNA. I just now told you are ribosomal RNA, messenger RNA, and transfer RNA. Now ribosomal RNA It is the most abundant of all types of RNA and it makes up about 80% of the total RNA. It is single-stranded and most stable form of RNA. Most stable, single-stranded. Then it is the structural and functional component of the ribosomes. It is present in the cytoplasm of both prokaryotic and eukaryotic cells and it has a high degree of secondary structure. High degree of secondary structure. And see, it's a single-stranded molecule like this. But where there are complementary bases, it forms a hairpin loop like this. Right? If complementary bases are present, it forms a hairpin loop like this. Like this. Complementary bases. AU, UA, CG. So, and other bases are present like this. So, it is a single-stranded molecule. Now, because it has high degree of secondary structure, 70% of it becomes double helical, double stranded like this. Then these double stranded regions form hairpin loops between the complementary regions of the same linear ribosomal RNA molecules. The various ribosomal proteins adhere at specific points on these loops and the stems. Then coming to messenger RNA, it constitutes about 10% of the total RNA. Messenger RNA. And this RNA, as we have discussed, is synthesized from the DNA which contains message for the formation of proteins. It is synthesized as a complementary strand of DNA. The process of RNA formation is called transcription. As RNA is copied from DNA, it carries the same genetic information as it is contained in the DNA. Messenger RNA in cytoplasm actually acts as a blueprint for the synthesis of proteins. Eukaryotic messenger RNA are monocistronic, which means a cistron is a specific small portion of the DNA that codes for a single protein, cistron. Monocistronic means codes for a single protein having only one protein synthesis initiating site. Prokaryotic messenger RNA are polycistronic, that is, they have more than one such sites, that is, a single mRNA is used for the synthesis of more than one protein. So, this is produced from DNA by the process of transcription, and in eukaryotes it is monocistronic, means codes for one protein only, whereas in prokaryotes it is polycistronic, codes for more than one protein. So this was about messenger RNA. Now coming to transfer RNA. These are the smallest type of RNA and contributes to about 10 to 15% of the total RNA in a cell, and this is the smallest RNA. It is in the shape of a clover leaf. That is, it has a shape somewhat like this. This has the anticodon. These three amino acids are the anticodon, and which code for three nucleotides. These three ribonucleotides form the anticodon, and the code for 3 nucleotides on the mRNA stand for protein synthesis, and they carry the amino acid at this point. So this is a clover leaf kind of structure, and they act as vehicles that pick up amino acids which are scattered throughout the cytoplasm of both prokaryotic and eukaryotic cells and transport them to specific codons of mRNA molecules on the ribosomes. Transfer RNA are composed up of 75 to 80 nucleotides, and there are about 60 types of transfer RNAs, but 20 types of transfer RNA are present in each cell. Why? Because there are 20 amino acids from which proteins are synthesized, and each amino acid has a specific vehicle for it to be carried for the synthesis of proteins. A specific vehicle is a specific tRNA. So there are 20 types of transfer RNAs which is a must to be present in each cell, corresponding to the 20 types of amino acids. This is a clover leaf shaped molecule due to hydrogen bonds between its nitrogenous bases, and at one end of the molecule 3 unpaired bases form the anticodon. They bind with a complementary codon on an mRNA molecule. As I told you, this is the codon. These unpaired will bind with this, and based on this anticodon, the amino acid will be carried, which will then form the peptide bond with another amino acid, and that's how proteins are synthesized. So these are the 3 different kinds of RNA and their characteristics. So I will end the class here today, and on the next turn we will do translation in detail. That is the process of protein synthesis in the ribosomes. So thank you and good luck to each one of you.